Julie always knew that her father had secrets, but she never imagined they would catch up with her at the most important moment of her career. As she entered the CEO's office for an interview, a simple photo on the desk revealed a truth that turned her world upside down. Now, Julie must decide between confronting her past or embracing a future she never imagined. But is she ready for the truth she is about to discover? Hello, my friends. I am Linda, and this is the Linda's Stories channel. I hope you enjoy this story. Julie woke up that morning with her stomach in knots. It wasn't just an ordinary job interview. It was her chance at Horizon Enterprises, one of the largest technology development companies in the country. Sitting on the edge of the bed, she took a deep breath, trying to calm her nerves as she ran her fingers over the old pendant her father had given her when she turned 12. The clock showed 5:30 a.m., 2 hours of travel to the capital, and another one until the interview time. Plenty of time, but Julie always preferred to arrive early. This trait, she knew, she had inherited from her mother, Helena, never from Anthony, her father, who lived in constant haste and always arrived late to every commitment, when he arrived. In the kitchen, her mother, Helena, was already preparing coffee, the familiar smell bringing a bit of comfort before the big day. "Good morning, dear. Nervous?" Helena asked, placing a mug of coffee in front of her daughter. "Scared to death," Julie admitted, blowing on the hot liquid, "but prepared." "You always are," Helena smiled, proud. "Your father called last night after you went to bed. He will be in the capital today." Julie looked up from her mug. "You haven't mentioned anything about my interview, right? I want to make it a surprise if I get accepted." "I didn't say anything as you asked. But I think I should have mentioned something. You could have lunch together, after all he only returns home tomorrow." Julie gave a sly smile. "I have other plans." In fact, Julie was thinking of surprising him if she got the job. Maybe finally her father would show the pride she had always sought. While finishing her coffee, memories of her childhood flooded her mind. Helena always present, working as a nurse at the local hospital, balancing shifts to be there for important moments. And her father, Anthony. Well, Anthony was always a figure in motion. As a sales representative for a large distributor, he spent more time in hotel rooms than at home. Julie grew up counting the days between his visits, which rarely lasted more than 3 days. Calendars marked with arrivals and departures, disappointments accumulating when calls came in informing that he wouldn't be present for yet another school play, another recital, another birthday. "My dear, adult life is hard, but one day I'll be able to spend more time at home," he always said, while wiping away the tears of a Julie too young to understand the complexities of adult life. The promise that hurt the most was the vacation trip. Every year, without fail, Anthony promised, "Next summer, we'll see the sea." And every year, without fail, work became the perfect excuse. Julie was now 25 years old and still hadn't had a vacation trip with her father. Your parents never officially married. Their relationship was always marked by intense arguments about his absence, nights when Helena cried alone in the kitchen thinking Julie was asleep. 3 years ago, they finally decided to end it for good. Strangely enough, the separation improved their relationship. Whenever Anthony came to visit Julie, he stayed in the guest room, and he and Helena managed to have friendly conversations over breakfast. 2 hours later, Julie was walking through the mirrored corridors of Horizon Enterprises. The imposing building in the city centre seemed to swallow the sky, its windows reflecting clouds and the infinite blue. Inside, everything was minimalist and intimidating, exactly how a tech company should be. In the waiting room, Julie nervously adjusted the hem of the navy blue blazer she had so carefully chosen. Her hands were slightly sweaty as she held her impeccably formatted resume. Honours degree specialisation. Everything seemed insufficient now that she was about to face Samantha Roberts, the CEO of Horizon, known for both her competence and her rigour in interviews. "Miss Anderson, Mrs. Roberts will see you now," announced the receptionist with a polite smile. Julie felt her heart race. This was the moment she had prepared for weeks. Samantha Roberts's office was exactly as Julie had imagined, spacious, with a panoramic view of the city, decorated with pieces of modern design and some strategically positioned plants. Samantha herself, a woman in her 30s, rose from her chair as Julie entered. She had shoulder-length brown hair, keen eyes, and a smile that revealed little. "Julie Anderson, correct? Please have a seat." Samantha indicated the chair across from her glass desk. The interview flowed surprisingly well. Julie answered each question with confidence, spoke about her previous projects, demonstrated technical knowledge and passion for the field. Samantha seemed genuinely impressed, taking occasional notes and nodding in approval. When the interview came to an end, Julie felt a relief wash over her body. She had done the best she could. She stood up and extended her hand to say goodbye, but in the movement, she accidentally knocked into a picture frame on Samantha's desk. The object almost fell, but Julie caught it in time. "I'm sorry," she said, putting the picture frame back in its place. That's when she saw the image. A recent wedding photograph. Samantha, radiant in a simple yet elegant white dress, was in the center, next to a tall, smiling man, presumably her husband. But what made Julie's blood run cold was the figure to Samantha's left, Anthony, her father, with the same familiar smile, wearing an elegant suit and looking at Samantha with a pride Julie had rarely seen directed at her. "It's my wedding photo," Samantha commented, unaware of the shock on Julie's face. "It happened just 8 months ago. That is my husband Michael, and on the left my father." Julie felt the world spin. Her father? But how? Why? "Your father," Julie managed to murmur, trying to control her voice. "Yes, he can never stay in one place, always travelling for work." Samantha laughed slightly. "It was a miracle he managed to be present at the wedding, to be honest." Julie forced a smile. "He seems like a busy man." "Extremely," Samantha agreed. "He has been absent for most of my life, but we are getting closer now that I am an adult. I think he has finally realized what he missed." Each word was a stab. Julie barely managed to finish the farewell formalities before leaving the office, her world collapsing around her. On the sidewalk in front of the building, Julie finally allowed the tears to fall. Her father, had another family, another daughter, an entire life she was unaware of. Suddenly everything made sense. The long absences, the constant trips, the broken promises. It wasn't just work that kept him away. It was another life, complete with another home and another daughter who also grew up missing him. With trembling hands, Julie picked up the phone and dialed her father's number. "Julie? What a surprise!" Anthony's familiar voice came through on the other end. "I'm in the capital," she said, trying to keep her voice steady. "We need to talk. Now." An hour later, they were sitting in a quiet cafe in the city centre. Anthony seemed relaxed, as always, unaware of the storm he was about to face. "So what's this surprise? What brings you to the capital?" he asked, smiling. "I came for a job interview," Julie replied, watching her father's face closely. "At Horizon Enterprises." The change was subtle, but it was there, a slight stiffening in his smile, a longer blink. "It's an excellent company," he commented, taking a sip of water. "Competitive, but—" "I did the interview with Samantha Roberts," Julie interrupted, her eyes never leaving his. "Your daughter." The glass of water trembled in Anthony's hands. He placed it on the table carefully, as if fearing that any sudden movement might shatter not just the glass, but the entire facade he had built. "I always knew there was something more, Anthony. I never imagined it would be this. But I knew there were secrets." She took a deep breath. "We are no longer romantically involved, but that doesn't make the betrayal any less painful. You stole from me the right to consciously choose the father of my daughter." Julie watched her father shrink a little more with each word. "And from Julie you stole a complete childhood, a present father, the truth about her own identity." "I know I don't deserve forgiveness," Anthony murmured. "I just wanted you to finally know the truth." As he stood up to leave, he seemed to carry the weight of the world on his shoulders. At the door, he turned one last time. With that, he left, leaving mother and daughter to process the revelations that had forever changed their understanding of their own lives. A week passed, each day bringing new layers of understanding and pain. Julie had decided not to accept the job if it were offered. How could she work for her half-sister, a stranger who shared her blood without knowing? But then, her phone rang. It was from the Human Resources Department at Horizon. Against all expectations, they had offered her the position. The recruiter praised her interview, mentioning that Samantha Roberts herself had been impressed with her qualifications. Julie didn't know what to say. She asked for a day to think it over and hung up, confused. The next day, she arrived at Horizon determined to politely decline the offer and continue with her life. But before she could speak with HR, she was informed that Samantha Roberts wanted to see her in her office. When she entered, she immediately noticed that the picture frame was no longer on the desk. "Julie," Samantha greeted, her expression unreadable. "Please, have a seat." Julie obeyed, her heart racing. "First of all, I want to make it clear that your job offer has nothing to do with—" Samantha paused, searching for the right words. "Our newly discovered family situation. You were the best candidate, period." Julie nodded, surprised. "Anthony, our father, told me everything," Samantha continued. "Including the fact that you didn't know about me until you saw that photo. It must have been a terrible shock." "Yes," Julie admitted. "I came today to decline the offer. I don't think it would be appropriate given the circumstances." Samantha tilted her head, considering. "I can understand that. But I also think it would be a shame to lose a talented professional because of our father's mistakes." She paused. "Besides, maybe there's a greater purpose in all of this." "What do you mean?" "I grew up as an only child, always feeling that something was missing in my life. Now I find out I have a sister." Samantha smiled slightly. "Maybe we can get to know each other outside the work environment, dinners, coffees, like two normal people trying to understand this crazy situation we find ourselves in." Julie felt an unexpected wave of emotion. "I would like that." In the following months, something extraordinary happened. Julie accepted the job at Horizon, and she and Samantha established clear boundaries regarding their professional relationship. But outside the office, a genuine friendship began to blossom. They discovered they shared more than just a father. Both loved old science fiction movies, preferred tea over coffee, and had the habit of making lists for absolutely everything. Both had felt the absence of the same man at crucial moments in their lives, and both had learned to be strong and independent as a result. During a particularly emotional dinner, the sisters began to share childhood stories. Julie laughed, remembering that, as a child, she had the habit of recording messages on cassette tapes for her father, describing her day and telling stories, hoping he would listen to them during his long trips. Samantha then revealed that she did something similar. She wrote little diaries that she left by the telephone, hoping her father would read them when he returned home. As time went by, the pain of betrayal began to transform into something different, not exactly forgiveness, but a cautious acceptance. By sharing laughter, stories, and discoveries, Julie and Samantha realized that, despite everything, they had gained something precious, each other. It was not simply an exchange of hurts for understanding, but a recognition that Anthony's wrong choices, no matter how devastating, had somehow brought their lives to this point. They could not ignore the damage he had caused, but neither could they deny that without him, their paths might never have crossed. It was an uncomfortable truth, but perhaps also an opportunity for a new beginning, not for the past, but for the future they could now build together. On a spring afternoon, about 6 months after the discovery, Julie and Samantha invited Anthony for coffee. He arrived nervous, aged by guilt and remorse. When he saw his 2 daughters sitting together, chatting easily like old friends, his eyes filled with tears. "I don't deserve this," he said, sitting down hesitantly. I don't deserve to see you two together like this." "Probably not," agreed Samantha, her tone softened by a slight smile. "But we are not doing this for you. We are doing it for us," Julie added. "What you did was unforgivable, Dad. But the result of that," she looked at Samantha, "was that I gained a sister I never knew I needed." "And I did too," Samantha nodded. "We are not saying everything is forgiven. We are saying that we want to move forward, with you in our lives, if you are willing to be honest from now on." Anthony looked at his daughters, strong women who had overcome his absence and his lies to form a bond he never imagined possible. "Thank you," he whispered. "I promise to be the father you both deserve from now on." Julie smiled, thinking about how a job interview and a photo on a CEO's desk had changed her life forever. The pain had not completely disappeared, nor had the scars that years of lies had left. But now there was also hope, connection, and the chance to build something new from the ruins of a secret. And so, as they watched their father leave the cafe, carrying the weight of his choices, Julie and Samantha exchanged glances, aware that true strength lies not only in forgiving, but in finding meaning even in the most painful situations. Sometimes life surprises us with revelations that seem unjust, but if faced with courage, they can turn into opportunities for growth and reconnection. Because in the end we are not defined only by the mistakes that precede us, but also by the strength with which we choose to transform those mistakes into new opportunities for connection and growth. If you enjoyed the story, please leave a comment with a rating from 1 to 5 to show how much you liked it. Also, watch the video that is now appearing on your screen. See you soon.